Welcome to News with a View, hosted by me, John A. Costa. This is a conservative-leaning podcast where I take in facts from both sides. I am fair with that, contrary to what Bob in New York says about me. But that's all right. I believe everyone should have their opinion. All right, today is August 12th, 2026. This is episode 86. I said yesterday I would do a show today. It's later in the evening. It's 8:30 already. But I was doing things, not important things, but I was doing things. And I just wanted to go over some of the races, political races, not races, Bob. So don't get upset. Don't call me. Don't text me. The Wisconsin election was closer than I thought it would have been. I didn't think Hong. Well, we didn't know. I mean, Hong was really going hard, and you had her biggest opponent, David Crowley, bow out of the race, and then the other candidate kind of bowed out, and then Hong was just running almost unopposed. And Crowley jumped back in just like 10 days before the primary, and he won. And Wisconsin said no to Francesca Hong, which was a big defeat for the progressives. Wisconsin being one of the key battle states, as well as Michigan being one of the key battle states. You would have had two of those battle states won by socialists. Two of the candidates running. There is no way, El Sayed is going to win in Michigan. It's just not going to happen. And there's no way that Crowley is going to win in Wisconsin. It might be close, but though Crowley is a more centralist Democrat. He is, of course, he's a Milwaukee bigwig. He knows what he's doing. He just couldn't get the numbers. And because, like I said in yesterday's show, the DSA ran a very, very good organizational and getting their voters out. Because the DSA knows that only between 5 and 10% of the available Democratic voters vote in primaries. And the same is true on the Republican side. It's a handful compared to going out on election day and voting. So the polling numbers that they were using for Hong were vastly inaccurate. And just like the polling numbers for a lot of these Democrats and socialists, they're skewed. And they're bad numbers or cheap numbers. The fact of the matter is that I think they saw in Wisconsin what's going on in Michigan and said, yeah, we're not going to have any of that nonsense. It's a little bit different state. Wisconsin, as I said, is a socialist mindset state. They always have been. But I think this time with Hong, who wanted to do away with Thanksgiving, who wanted to do away with the police, who wanted to have, full available, welfare, housing. I think it was just too much for the people of Wisconsin to go. And it was close. She didn't lose by much, but she lost. So the Democrats kind of took a little sigh that, all right, at least we got a chance with David Crowley. I mean, and they do. It's not that, David Crowley's going to, get slaughtered. No, that's not going to happen, because now the Democrats can go, we got a centralist person here, or as centralist as the Democrats of today can be. So it will be interesting. Crowley might come out now and be a little bit more conservative. I think, and again, the Democrats, now moderates will be able to go, all right, I can put up with this guy. It's not a socialist. So that kind of swings the variable. In Michigan, you think union workers are going to vote for this guy, Saeed? Not going to happen. The working families and stuff, not voting for him. And yes, in, of course, Michigan, you have the largest concentration of Muslims. Nothing wrong with that. You had the largest concentration of, in Boston and New York of Italians. And Irish, and so that doesn't matter to me. And one is a race, and the other is a religion. And the fact is that I don't think either one of these candidates are going to make it. Though the difference is 95% of the Muslims in Michigan will vote. And 88% of them will vote for Saeed. That's just the way that goes. The only thing that can really start to hurt him a bit is that, how are you going to pay for all these things? How are you going to do all these things? We're losing jobs, we're losing industry, we're losing this. So that falls on homeowners and local businesses to come up with that shortfall. So it's going to be hard for a lot of these progressives to really move forward against seasoned, polished Republicans. Right now they've been just, yakking away, and now they're going to have to step up and explain themselves from questions from people that know how to do the job. And I'm not saying that any of these people couldn't do the job. I'm not saying that. But there's going to be a difference when these people are put in the spotlight. Now, they think they've been in the spotlight. They haven't been in the spotlight. They've been in the shadows. Now they're going to step into the spotlight. And when they ask, hey, you said this on this date, how do you plan on doing that? So you don't want police, or you don't want these people. Well, no, that's not what I mean. Well, what did you mean? Because this is what you said. I think they're going to get an education. I think that the DSA will try their best to school them. But I'm telling you right now, the Democratic Party is stepping back and going, we're not going to help you. We're not going to help you. And you have progressives. You have progressives like Peggy Flanagan out of Minnesota, lieutenant governor, won the primary over Angie Craig. That was a bitter battle. Craig aimed to tie Flanagan, who's the lieutenant governor, to the fraud. And, Flanagan campaign also said radical change, including ripping apart federal immigration and custom enforcement and expanding Medicare to cover everyone. Now, those are state, ICE is not state, but it gets a little dicey with that. Well, but if the state wants everyone on Medicare, they just got to come up with the money, but it's not going to come from the federal government. You're not going to be siphoning that anymore. Those things are over. So her big question is, how are you going to pay for this? You got a scandal here that started off at a couple of $1 billion and now has the potential of going up above $19 billion of fraud. They've cut off funding. So, and the federal government has cut off funding, just like they're doing in California, until they can get some meaningful data. So these wins for the progressives, the Republicans are just chomping at the bit to get out there and challenge them on that. You haven't heard anything out of Walsh's mouth. They're telling him to shut up. That race and things going on in Minnesota is a disaster. And that will get peeled back. Just like California, it will get peeled back. And of course, Flanagan, she got endorsements from Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren. They're on a really, it's. I just want to say it's a false road. It's a fake road. They pushed out candidates that had a chance. And I blame the DNC for allowing the DSA into the tent. It was just a really bad choice to make. And you could say, well, they had a right to be heard. Well, sure, start your own party. Start your own party. Why should the government have to pay for that? And red state progressives, Missouri Rep. Wesley Bell, a moderate, crushed a comeback attempt by his progressive predecessor, Cori Bush. So you can see that the Republicans are way out in front of the DSA. Now, they'll run under DSA and Democrat, but believe me, there are going to be very few Republicans crossing over that line. And you're going to have more, mostly in Michigan, Reagan Democrats going, no, I don't want Saeed in there. And you might see, the media, yeah, touting him. Not going to happen, folks. Not going to happen. And you look at David Crowley, again, out of Wisconsin. And he's currently the top elected official in Milwaukee County. And he bowed out of the races. He bowed out of that race just under a month ago because he just couldn't carry the numbers, and he realized that, hey, can't do it. And then when the other opponent had to step out of the race because her financial manager for her election, something happened to the money. And so she bowed out. So he jumped back in 10 days before the primary. His name was in there. He was official, but there was no problem with him going, well, I'm going to run again. Keeping my name out there. And he won. And it was close. He got the endorsement of outgoing Democratic Governor Tony Evers, which helped propel him, gave him those extra points he needed. And it wasn't by a lot, like I said, about a half a percentage point. But again, when only 5 or 6 or 7% of the people, eligible voters, are voting, and they, like I said, the DSA did a phenomenal job of getting the vote out. Won't take that away from them. They did a phenomenal job. They had Bernie Sanders, they had AOC, they had, all these progressives, Warren and everyone else marching, and, Sanders gets the job done. He collects, and they laughed, nickels and quarters and, dollars, in the hat. Turns out to be a lot of money. And he's got a lot of pull. Elizabeth Warren, yeah, she's an old, war horse, but Bernie Sanders definitely delivers. So, and Tony, Francesca Hong did not get the endorsement of Bernie Sanders. Did not get his endorsement. Because, as he said, I don't know enough about the candidate. Oh, stop it. Stop it. You knew more and you just didn't want to get involved with it, Bernie. You didn't want to be painted with that same brush. So, some interesting turnabouts. I don't know how, it might be a kind of sigh of relief for some Democrats, but the Democrats have just done a terrible, terrible job of getting their message out. And like I said, Democrats are not socialists. A liberal is not a socialist. And you could see how much fragmentation there is inside that organization. And no matter what, Republicans, you could be ultra conservative or you could just be conservative. But at the end of the day, you're conservative. So I can't see how the Democrats are going to pull this off in November. I just don't see it. There's no rhyme or reason to it. In the Republican special primary in South Carolina, Darlene Graham beat out Russell Fry, Congressman Russell Fry, for the Senate Republican nomination, but now we have to have another special election because Ralph Norman, Congressman Ralph Norman, and her split the vote type of deal, and now they're going to have to see which one of these get the most amount of votes in the next election, which is August 21st. Again, I was looking, and someone questioned me on my age of Ralph Norman, and Ralph Norman age. Okay. I apologize. He's 73. All right. He's my age. Well, sure. But here's the thing that I worry about when you start tipping over that 65 years of age for these politicians. Do we want another Mitch McConnell? Do you want another one of these where, he's sick or he dies or, and listen, no one knows. For the most part, you don't come with an expiration date, but you want to mitigate it as much as you can in the sense of, I want a continuation. I want continuity. And, if, we don't have that, then, I don't know. I like Ralph Norman. And in a podcast that I did right after the late Lindsey Graham, and I said, Ralph Norman will be the next senator of South Carolina. And I stand by that. My issue with Darlene Graham is don't know her. Don't know her. I have no idea of her politics. I have no idea on her ideas on the Supreme Court. I have no ideas about her stance with the military, other than the fact that she is or was Lindsey Graham's sister. Well, that doesn't give you the credentials. We had to remember Billy Carter. So I mean, I didn't like how this is playing out, and I know that the seat is going to stay red, and whoever replaces Ralph Norman, that seat will be red. But I'd like to know about these people. I feel like Darlene Graham was kind of shoved down our throats. And, I'm a big boy. I'll decide what goes in my throat. So there's a lot of us who are saying she might be the best person in the world, but we don't know her. And no one has even asked her. I haven't seen questions to her. And, again, I don't want a senator or a Congress, I don't care what party they belong to, who just rubber stamp stuff. Rubber stamping gets you in trouble. It's just the way it is. I don't object to loyalty. And, party over country or country over party. Okay, we've heard that all before. But I'd like to know what their positions are on China. I want to know what their positions are on with the Ukraine. And I want to know these things. And she could turn around and she goes, yeah, well, I dislike Russia. Okay, tell me why. Give me an example. I'm just one example. And if she came out and she said, well, they attacked the Ukraine. Explain to me why you think Russia attacked the Ukraine. And you follow this. Now I could start seeing how this person thinks. You're not trying to trap them. You're not trying to tip them over. You just want to know, okay, I know you're pushing the car this way, but there's a steering wheel in that car too. So you could turn this way or you could turn that way. Tell me which way you're going here and the path you want to follow. So I'm not happy with that. I would certainly, Ralph Norman, loads of experience, would make a great senator. Russell Fry, I said, I like Russell Fry. I've met him. I've spoken with him. Very down-to-earth guy. And to me, a little short on experience. But not really. Not really. You have good people around you. And you can make a go of it. And Ralph Norman could be there till he's 79. Whatever it is, it is. And again, I'd like to hear him speak. I'd like to hear his feelings. I know what his feelings are. I mean, you can go on C-SPAN and look up some of these congressmen and just find out everything they've ever said in front of the podium. And they all do it, and there's no one there. You got the custodians, cleaning stuff. And these guys are pounding their fist, and this, we can't, And it's just so they go on record. All right. But at least I can go on C-SPAN and look these people up. I couldn't do that with Hong. I couldn't do that with a lot. I can't do that with Darlene Graham. Can't do it. I could only look for snippets with Hong. I could only do whatever was grabbed by, the media. So it becomes, a problem. To me, it's a problem. I was hoping we'd have a definitive winner. I was hoping it would not be Darlene Graham, only because I don't know her. And, this isn't, you don't look in a horse's mouth if it's given to you as a gift, but this isn't a gift. You gotta win this. You gotta tell me what your plans are and how you plan on doing it. And, just because you're going to say, I'm going to continue what my brother has started, what do you know about it? So, I'm not there yet. And you look in Maine, you got Troy Jackson running against Susan Collins. And, you know, of course, we know, like I said, Plattner, you know, should never have been there to begin with. But Troy Jackson was the one pushing him. And, you know, he was the force behind Plattner. And now he's running against Susan Collins. And, I mean, he has his own baggage and can of worms. He came out with a statement that I think he said something to the fact that he goes, I could have got elected running in the Communist Party. You know, and I get it. You could say that. To me, it's not damning. It was no different than, you know, Donald Trump, you know, Park Avenue or Fifth Avenue comment. I could walk down the street, shoot someone, and wouldn't lose a vote. So I get that it was more of an off-the-cuff comment. And, all right. You know, he'll have to answer for it, but I mean, it's not like, oh my God, that's the end of the world. You know, but it just shows again, he doesn't have the clout or the brains of a Trump or the reach of a Trump. So if you're going to say stuff and think, well, you know, Trump said it, you think that's going to get you, you know, like in school, but Billy was doing it, you know, I caught you. You know. So that's the news today with the primaries. We got one more coming up, August 21st. We'll see how that turns out. It'll be red. No matter what it is, it's going to be red. So I'm not worried about it. But these are the unknowns. You know, no one expected this, and it wasn't going to be a problem. And you know, we should see, you know, in the next couple of weeks how this plays out. Okay, with that, folks, I'm going to say thank you. Everyone, please give to a charity if you can. If that is not your thing, then please think about giving to a local food bank. They always need help, not only with food, but monetary donations. Any of your civic groups that you could help that you actually know. You know, it's not the Dewey, Cheatham, and Howe, you know, organization here. You know, check out anyone that you donate money to, or goods or services or anything like that. You know, do your due diligence. Say a prayer. Prayer does work. I'm a big believer in prayer. And God only knows how I got this far. Everyone be safe. I will not be doing a show tomorrow. Unless something, you know, huge happens. Tomorrow's a busy day for me. Friday's a busy day for me. But I might do one Friday night. Not sure yet. All right, everyone. Be safe. Be good. Bob, I did get your email. I will look at your jokes. And everyone, be safe. Be good. Be kind. As I fade to